The reason why it's difficult to overcome your childhood trauma, or why when you have dealt with childhood trauma, narcissistic parent throughout your life, why you struggle so much in adulthood, it's because the abuse, abandonment, and neglect we went through was consistent and prolonged. This was a daily struggle. As we were growing up and growing into our adolescent years, instead of us being loved on and loved properly, we were abandoned. We were abused. We were neglected. We did not receive all of the love that we needed. We didn't receive the type of treatment we needed. We received the exact opposite of that. And it was consistent and prolonged. This was a daily struggle. Throughout the days, instead of us being treated well, we were mistreated. Instead of us being loved properly, we were unloved. Instead of us being given the treatment that we deserved and that we needed, we were being abandoned. Instead of us receiving the attention we needed, we were abandoned and neglected. Instead of us being treated well, we were being abused. This was a consistent thing that went on for such a long time. It went on for years. And it's because these parents of ours, they behaved in such heinous ways consistently. There was no change in their behavior. They didn't one day just decide to start treating us better. They continuously treated us horribly, and it got worse over the years. So throughout the time that you're going through your days and you're developing, when you're constantly being shoved down with all this trauma as you're trying to develop, you're developing through your trauma, so you're underdeveloped. That's why a lot of us were underdeveloped when we got into adulthood, because we weren't developed properly, because we weren't loved properly. This was a consistent thing. Throughout the days, our parents would act in such cold shoulder, cruel ways, just giving us the cold shoulder, being cruel to us, and not giving us the warmth and love that we needed. And it was consistent. That's what we are so upset about, because we went through this on a consistent basis without there being any change, without there being any type of rest from everything that had happened. You see, when you're constantly abused on a consistent basis, it affects your development, it affects your mental health, it affects your growth. It makes you grow slower, it makes you develop slower, and it causes mental health issues within you, where you are you're sad, you're depressed, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling anxiety, you're just dealing with a lot of difficult emotions that are difficult for you to process. We also were going through trauma without the tools or resources to heal from that trauma, without even having the emotional space or safety to heal from that trauma. So it was constant trauma that we couldn't escape and we couldn't heal from. And when you're trying to grow and develop and you can't heal that trauma, it slows down your growth. It stunts your growth. And a lot of our growth got stunted at a certain age because of all the abuse that we endured. So we have to see that when you were abused on a consistent basis, that's going to take a while for you to heal, because it's days, weeks, months, years worth of abuse that we endured. You can't just heal that overnight. It's not a quick, at the snap of a finger, quick switch. It's not like a light switch you can turn on and off. No, it's actual inner work that we have to do in order to heal ourselves from that trauma. Our trauma was consistent. So when your trauma is consistent, it affects your mental health. It affects your brain. It affects how you view the world. It affects how you perceive the world, because you're perceiving the world from fight or flight, from out of survival, instead of being able to just live freely. They deprived us of living a free life because we were in survival mode in our own home. We had to survive at home, survive at school, and survive at work when we had jobs. We were having to survive all the time. We never escaped that survival. We were constantly in survival mode. That's why we have all that stress. That's why we have all of that trauma within us, because of everything that we endured. But here's the thing. You can overcome your trauma getting into therapy, talking things out, journaling, Even talking to yourself, talking to other people, venting it out is going to help you. And talking to God about what you have been through to gain the wisdom from what you have experienced. Because there's wisdom to gain in everything that we experience, because you're going to be able to see what you went through from a different perspective. You're going to be able to understand what you went through and overstand what you went through when you can see it from a broader perspective, a much broader lens. And you're able to heal this pain because you're going to alchemize all of that pain into power, and it's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you more powerful. All of that pain that you have endured, you can turn that around, alchemize it into power, and become more powerful. So the version of yourself that you are now is stronger and more powerful, more aware, more awakened, and able to navigate the world from your strength, not from your pain anymore.